Good everyone, here's our latest video update on this Wednesday afternoon or early evening on Prapiroon and Maria, both tropical storms which continue to track across the western Pacific. Begin with severe tropical storm Prapiroon or Bagyong Nina, now moving near the Okinawa Islands. Last located approximately 850 kilometers northeast of Basco, Batanes, or about 240 kilometers southeast of the Naha area, south of on the southern part of Okinawa. Maximum sustained winds are at 100 kilometers per hour with gusts of up to 150. System is now moving north-northeastward at 15 kilometers per hour. After meandering in this region for at least 2 days, begins to move northeastward as we have forecasted before, and will likely pass east of Okinawa tonight and into the early morning hours tomorrow, Thursday. Now looking at the latest infrared image, and you can see the system barely has any sort of convective activity, very fragmented. Although the system still looks very symmetrical, you can still see the circulation here, and actually look at the visible image, the low level swirl around here, showing the structure of the system. Again, very weak in terms of the appearance on satellite, but winds and rains are still going to be a big threat across Okinawa and the rest of the islands here in the Ryukyus, and even here across the Daito-jima area. And looking at the radar image from Japan Meteorological Agency, this is from out of the Okinawa Island. You can see bands of light to moderate rains moving across Okinawa and even here into the Amami area, bringing rainfall rates of up to 10 to even 20 millimeters in an hour. Looking back actually at the infrared image, you can see that even though the convection is fragmented, unfortunately we have a pretty good convective activity, a cluster of clouds moving across the islands. Here you can see the high cloud tops, green temperatures, again translating to periods of light to moderate rains here. In fact, some of the stations have already recorded 50 millimeters of rain in the past 6 hours alone, and unfortunately more is on the way here, and we expect at least 100 millimeters in some of these stations by the time all is said and done tomorrow. And also aside from the rains, we're actually seeing winds, sustained winds of tropical storm strength being reported across the islands here, particularly along the southern tip of Okinawa, which is much nearer to the center of Prapiroon. You can see sustained winds here. These are in meters per second, so that would translate to anywhere between 60 to even 85 kilometers per hour. Some gusts have well been above 100 kilometers per hour already in some of these stations, and again we expect those tropical storm force winds to continue pounding the islands for at least another 12 hours. The system is now moving at a fairly decent pace, 15 kilometers per hour, and we expect it to slowly accelerate over time, perhaps moving out of this area in the next 24 to 36 hours. Okay, for now we'll continue to see those winds, heavy rains, and even rough surf all across the islands linger throughout this evening. Okay, the forecast for Prapiroon, now real good agreement among the computer models, now showing the system to eventually accelerate to the northeast, moving out of the Okinawa, Daito, and Amami area, perhaps by Thursday evening or Friday morning, and will be passing well south of the islands of Kyushu, Shikoku, and Honshu. Perhaps not even going to be a threat among the islands here. Perhaps some rain showers and rough surf, but nothing in terms of strong winds. And the system again will continue to accelerate quickly now as it hits up the strong westerlies in this region. Finally, we have the Japan Meteorological Agency also showing pretty similar forecast here of a track south of the mainland Japan, and again moving across the northern Pacific, perhaps becoming extratropical as we move into the weekend. But for now, the threat remains for much of Okinawa, Amami, and the rest of the Ryukyu Islands for some light to moderate rains and even a strong wind. To the tropical system, this is severe tropical storm Maria moving over the northern Pacific away from the Ogasawara Islands, last located approximately 480 kilometers northeast of Chichijima, which is the largest island here, or about 850 kilometers southeast of Tokyo, Japan. Maximum sustained winds are at 95 kilometers per hour with gusts of up to 130, and the system is now moving east-northeastward at 25 kilometers per hour. Not going to be a big threat anymore across the islands here. It did bring winds of up to 100 kilometers across Iwo Jima, and also here in Ogasawara Islands, together with rains of up to 80 millimeters yesterday. Thankfully, the weather here is really quieter and much improved compared to yesterday. And as we've said before, the system is now moving over the northern Pacific, not going to be a threat anymore to land. And again, the forecast here continues to bring it to the generally to the eastward direction, perhaps becoming extratropical in the next 24 to 48 hours, as being shown here on the Japan Meteorological Agency, moving across the northern Pacific. And finally, we have the infrared image loop of the western Pacific basin. Again, you can see here Prapiroon swirling off to the northeast, passing near Okinawa and the rest of the Ryukyu Islands. Here is Tropical Storm Maria moving across the northern Pacific away from the Ogasawara Islands. And this is still Invest 91W. We continue to watch this system for possible development as we head into the weekend or perhaps early part of next week. Still a very weak and disorganized system. There is an elongated troughing though, producing showers across the eastern parts of Micronesia. Not going to be a big threat though. Will be passing well south of Guam, so no problems there. But again, computer models continue to hint at a possible development once it reaches the 140th or possibly 130th meridian. As it moves perhaps into the Philippine Sea, it could become a weak tropical depression or even a tropical storm. Still don't know that. Still in the early stages of development anyway, and continue to watch that area for development. But as of right now, those are the three systems we are watching out here in the Western Pacific. Concludes our video update for today. Continue to check out this official links in the official weather agencies across the Western Pacific, especially here in JMA if you're in Okinawa, and also for Kadena Air Base, which is now under T-Core 3 as of the moment. Forecast to experience 50 knot winds or greater in the next 48 hours. Not going to be as strong as the past two typhoons here, Jelawat and Sanba, but still tropical storm force winds, heavy rains, and rough surf will still disrupt activities here across the Ryukyu Islands for at least another 24 hours. Stay safe, guys.